Welcome to the Sporting Mindset Show. I'm your host, Dwayne Nestor. This podcast is all about helping athletes, coaches and parents better understand the mental side of performance. How well do you actually know yourself? It's a big question, isn't it? And when it comes to parenting young athletes, it might be one of the most important questions you can ask. Because self-awareness isn't just about knowing your personality type or recognizing a few habits. It's about being honest enough to understand how your behaviors, emotions, and reactions impact the people around you, especially your child. The really powerful thing about self-awareness is that it helps you understand not just who you are, but why you are that way. Why do certain situations trigger you? Why do you react emotionally during games? Why do you feel nervous before your child competes? Why do wins and losses sometimes affect you more than they affect them? When you start understanding the why, you give yourself a real opportunity to grow. You can build on your strengths and start working on the behaviours that may not be helping you or your child. Now, the challenge is that self-reflection takes time, and most parents are already flat out trying to balance work, family, sport, travel, and life in general. But spending time understanding yourself is one of the best investments you can make, not just for you, but for your child as well. Sometimes it starts really simply. Just sitting quietly and thinking honestly about your reactions and behaviours can be powerful. Journaling those thoughts takes it a step further because it forces you to slow down and process things properly. And then there's the value of conversation. Talking openly with someone you trust, whether that's your partner, a close friend, maybe even another sporting parent, can help uncover things you don't always see in yourself. And if you're brave enough to get perspectives from a couple of trusted people, that awareness can deepen even further. Because often the people around us can see patterns in our behaviour long before we can. And once you develop that awareness, you're in a much better position to actually change your behaviours. Think about the parent who becomes completely emotionally tied to their child's performance. They're anxious before every game. They yell instructions from the sideline. They get visibly frustrated when mistakes happen. Sometimes they ride every moment harder than the athlete themselves. Now, on the surface, that can look like passion or commitment. But the important question is, why? Maybe they carry regret about opportunities they never pursued in their own sporting career. Maybe they're just naturally ultra-competitive and struggle to separate themselves emotionally from the contest. Maybe success and achievement have always been tied closely to their identity. Whatever the reason, the breakthrough happens when they can honestly recognise it. Because once someone understands the why behind their behaviour, they can start putting strategies in place to manage it. They can pause before reacting. They can regulate their emotions. They can communicate more openly with their child. They can become intentional about the energy they bring into sporting environments. And that changes everything. Instead of becoming another source of pressure or distraction, they become a calm, positive, supportive presence. And for a young athlete, that kind of support can make an enormous difference. Thanks for joining me on the Sporting Mindset Show. I hope today's conversation has given you something to think about. But one thing we do know for certain is that mindset matters. So as you move through your week, maybe take a moment to reflect. What mindset are you bringing into your sport, your coaching, your parenting, or your everyday life? If you enjoyed this episode, follow or subscribe, share it with someone who'd benefit from it, and continue being part of a community that values growth, learning, and high performance done the right way. I'm Dwayne Nestor, and this has been the Sporting Mindset Show.